Let's talk about something that most men won't admit, but feel deep in their bones. You walk into your own house, and she doesn't flinch. No respect, no softness, no sense of reverence for you as the man. You speak, and it's met with sarcasm. You lead, and she resists. You make decisions, and she undermines them. You're not the head anymore. You're the help. You're not the protector. You're the emotional punching bag. And somehow, somewhere along the way, you became the wife. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about control. This is about a dangerous shift in modern relationships that's left men neutered, confused, and buried under layers of guilt and shame for simply wanting to be men again. This is the ugly truth behind why most wives no longer obey their husbands. Not because obedience is slavery, but because modern women have rebranded rebellion as empowerment and submission as oppression. And if you're feeling that in your gut, then buckle up. We're diving into 7 bitter truths that most men never hear, but absolutely need to. Point 1. You traded masculine leadership for emotional approval. There was a time when your presence meant something. Your silence could command a room. But somewhere along the line, you gave that up, not for peace, but for permission. You stopped leading and started asking. You said things like, "Is that okay with you, babe? I just want to make sure you're happy with it. What do you think we should do?" You turned leadership into a joint committee. You stopped drawing lines and started tiptoeing around her moods. You thought that if you just showed her how considerate and emotionally available you were, she'd reciprocate with loyalty and respect. But here's the brutal truth. You became her emotional girlfriend, not her man. Women don't want to mother their husbands. And the more you bend to her emotions, the less she sees you as the man she once admired. You become predictable, soft, safe, and ultimately invisible. She didn't marry you for your feelings. She married you for your frame. Masculine leadership doesn't ask for emotional approval. It invites a woman to follow because your conviction is stronger than her confusion. When she tests you, she's not always trying to win. She's checking to see if you'll stand firm. And if you don't, she loses attraction. Then she loses respect. Then she loses obedience. You want her to follow again? Stop seeking her permission to be the man. Point 2. You rewarded disrespect with more access. You've been taught to be patient, to be the bigger person, to keep the peace. But let's be real. You've been trained to tolerate disrespect and call it love. She snaps at you in public and you let it slide. She undermines you in front of kids and you bite your tongue. She shuts down intimacy and weaponizes sex. And you still go to bed whispering, "I love you." You think that if you just keep loving her through her moods, she'll eventually come back around. That if you stay calm while she storms, she'll realize how lucky she is. But here's the hard pill. You're rewarding bad behavior, like a simp training himself to be walked on. Every time she sees you accept her attitude without consequence, her respect for you dies a little more. You're telling her, "You can treat me however you want. I'll still be here." And she hears that loud and clear. Women don't obey men. They can manipulate. They obey men who command boundaries, not beg for peace. Disrespect unchecked becomes a new standard. And when a woman doesn't feel checked, she doesn't feel secure. Because deep down, she knows she's not supposed to lead and resents the man who makes her do it. If you don't enforce your boundaries, she'll test them harder. Not because she's evil, but because she's trying to feel the edge of your masculinity. And if it's not there, she'll lead, she'll dominate, she'll lose desire. And you'll lose your place as the man in the marriage. Point 3. You made her come for your mission, not your calling. Men used to live for purpose, for mission, for legacy. But now, too many men live for peace in the household, even if it costs them their power. You rearrange your schedule to match hers. You stopped chasing your dreams because it made her feel neglected. You abandoned the gym, your friends, your vision, because she didn't feel prioritized. And you told yourself, happy wife, happy life. But here's what you didn't see coming. The more you orbit her comfort, the more she resents you for not being a man on fire. She may say, "I just want us to be close." But deep down, she's checking to see if you're still a man with direction. Because a man without direction is a man she has to drag, and that's not attractive. You think she'll appreciate your sacrifices? No, she'll question your drive. You think she'll love you more for putting her first? No, she'll feel like she married a man with no spine. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Her comfort was never meant to be your mission. Your mission was meant to create a world where her comfort could thrive, but not by forsaking yourself. A woman obeys a man who obeys his mission, who wakes up with fire in his chest, who can say, I love you, but I have things to do, and I'm not asking for permission to be great. When your mission dies, her submission dies with it. Point 4. You confuse equality with sameness and killed the polarity. You wanted to be fair. You wanted to show her that you're not like controlling, outdated men of the past. So you said things like, we're equals in this relationship. I want us to make decisions together. Whatever you can do, I can do too. Sounds nice on paper, until reality slaps you. Because here's the bitter truth. Men and women are not the same, and pretending you are destroys the tension that makes her feel safe, feminine, and attracted. Equality is about value. Polarity is about roles. And when you erase masculine and feminine roles in a relationship, guess what happens? Someone fills the masculine void, and it won't be you. She starts making final decisions. She sets the emotional tone. She steers the family direction. And suddenly, the equal marriage becomes a masculine-feminine flip, where you're in the back seat, apologizing for being male. You thought being sensitive and in touch with your emotions would bring you closer, but all it did was blur the lines. Instead of leading with strength and emotional clarity, you began mirroring her mood like a best friend, not a husband. And what's worse, she starts to secretly resent you for being the emotional one. She won't say out loud, but she'll lose desire. She'll pull away, and when you ask what's wrong, she'll say nothing while silently mourning the man you used to be. Want her to follow again? Stop being her mirror and be her masculine opposite. That's what awakens submission, not sameness. Point 5. You ignored her tests and failed everyone. You ever notice how just when things feel smooth, she picks a fight, brings up something from months ago, makes a sarcastic comment just to see how you react? That's not random. That's a compliance check. Women test. Always. Not because they want to destroy you, but because they want to feel the limits of your strength. They don't consciously plan it. It's instinctual. They poke at your frame to see if it holds. And most modern men, they fold. Every time. She gets moody and you walk on eggshells. She accuses you of being cold. And you over-explain to make her feel better. She disrespects you, and you respond with empathy instead of consequence. You thought you were being emotionally intelligent, but what you really showed her was that your masculinity is negotiable. And here's what that teaches her. I don't have to obey you, I just have to emotionally manipulate you. A man who can't stand firm in the face of her storm is a man she'll never truly follow. Because if she can shake you, how the hell are you going to handle the world? You pass her test by holding your ground without apology, by staying calm when she's chaotic, by enforcing consequences when she crosses lines, not with rage, but with certainty. Women don't obey weakness dressed in kindness. They obey the man who can say, I love you, but I won't tolerate this. That's strength. That's leadership. That's what she craves, even if she pretends she doesn't. Point 6. You made marriage a negotiation, not a standard. Modern men are stuck in a dangerous trap, trying to earn what they should expect. You negotiate for peace. You negotiate for sex. You negotiate for respect. You try to deserve what used to be standard in a marriage. You say things like, if I just do more around the house, maybe she'll appreciate me. If I compliment her more, maybe she'll be in the mood. If I take her on more dates, maybe she'll stop talking down to me. Sound familiar? You've been groomed to believe that love is transactional, that if you do enough, you'll be rewarded. But here's the gut punch. Real love doesn't require constant performance. And real submission from a woman doesn't come from being her emotional butler. You've turned your masculine presence into a series of tasks and deals, and she sees it. She senses the desperation behind the generosity. And the more you give from a place of hoping to be appreciated, the less she values it. Women don't follow men who negotiate. They follow men who set standards. She doesn't respect that you beg her to stop yelling in front of the kids. She respects when you say, "If this happens again, I'm gone," and mean it. She doesn't feel safe when you explain your boundaries. She feels safe when you enforce them. A man with standards doesn't ask for respect. He makes it the price of admission. You want obedience? Stop negotiating your worth. Start demanding alignment. Point 7. You forgot who you were before she loved you. Let me ask you something. Who were you before her? Before the compromises? Before the emotional games? Before the do this? And maybe she'll give you that cycle. Remember him? He had goals. He had fire. He wasn't scared to say no. He didn't live for validation or walk on eggshells to keep a woman happy. He was the reason she wanted you in the first place. But somewhere along the way, you traded yourself for her approval. You lost your edge, your mystery, your power. And now, she treats you like an accessory. A safe, soft, obedient man she doesn't have to respect. And what's worse, you did it all thinking it would make her stay. But here's the paradox. The man she stays with isn't the one who sacrifices himself for her. It's the one who stays true to himself, no matter what. A woman obeys a man she fears losing. Not because he's cruel, but because his self-respect is higher than her moods. If you want to lead again, you need to kill the version of you that's been trained to submit, to apologize, to perform. Reclaim your edge. Rebuild your masculine frame. Speak less, enforce more. Led with certainty, not consensus. She didn't stop obeying because she's evil. She stopped obeying because you stopped being a man worth following. If this hit you in the gut, good. You needed this. Because what you've been calling love might just be self-betrayal with a ring on it. Subscribe, like, comment, and share this with brothers and sons who need to wake up. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You've just been lied to long enough. It's time to unmask the truth. Welcome to Woman Unmasked.